20 years ago, but are gangs still considered a problem now? Mike Headrick has spent the last couple of months looking into this issue.
Whole thing very eye-opening, Brian and Christina. Back in the 80s, you could spot a gang member really a mile away. The way they dressed, the way they talked, the things they did, they were very visible. But today, gang members have tweaked the way they go about doing their business. Now, don't misunderstand, they are still violent and they still commit very serious crimes. But as we found out, they're mixing the old with the new. The video we're about to show you is graphic, it is real, and it was all taken right here in Utah. It is a life hard to imagine, but for many, this could not be more real. The turf wars, the drug trade, the killings. Gangs are alive and well in the Salt Lake Valley, and the problems they breed are stretching beyond the other side of the tracks.
It gets pretty scary, you know. They'd actually drive by here and shoot.
Fearing their own safety, some residents on the west side reluctantly confess that gang violence is a growing cancer in their neighborhood. They see the drugs, their property to face, and have witnessed the bullets fly by.
Barely missed them. You know, it could have got the kid, you know.
Tragically, a countless number of lives in the Salt Lake Valley have been taken in gang fights. But what loved ones cannot understand,
he lost a lot of blood and he just died,
is the hate that spawns these vicious attacks. Some are driven by race, others by drugs. But we sat down with a former gang member
most of them
who says sometimes
want to be the tough guy.
It's simply about ruling the hood with an iron fist.
Pretty fun to me because I like fighting and going out just, messing up people.
Ironically, kids don't typically join gangs because they're attracted to the violence. For most,
protection.
There is safety in numbers. Miles Kinney joined the Tongan Crips when he was just 8 years old. A decision he made after repeatedly getting jumped by a Mexican gang on his way to school.
I can remember 2 times in particular to where they took a bat to me, to where they're jumping you just because of the fact that I was Tongan.
Kinney started young, but there are countless others.
About like age 5.
Who are practically born into the life. Kids in grade school said to be strapped with guns. Kinney says they become the drug runners, pushing dope and collecting cash in an attempt to show loyalty to their fraternity of criminals.
A lot of cultural pressure out there to join gangs. And as long as you're connected to a group that can protect you, then you're safe.
Gangs exist basically to facilitate the drug trade.
For the past 3 years, Detective Eric Jensen has run with the Metro Gang Unit and says, speaking in numbers, gang activity is the same as it was 20 years ago. There's roughly 400 documented gangs in the valley.
The Bloods.
They tag buildings.
The Tongan Crip gang.
They claim territory.
Sureños.
And if you want to join the club, you got to be willing to pay the price. This is called a jump-in. It's an initiation of sorts where the rookie gets beat within an inch of his life, but in the end, is fully welcomed in by his new family. And for most, that's exactly what a gang represents. Family.
Whatever it is for you to prove your loyalty to the gang and to prove that you're down to do whatever it takes to belong to that gang.
Case in point, this carload of gangbangers on a retaliation mission, sending a clear message to their rivals
I'll kill both
that they will not be disrespected.
It's a hit and run, and if you get lucky, you hit some of the rival gang members. If you don't, you got to get it the next round.
And while the violence persists, the crimes are changing. Detectives say gang crime is becoming more and more secretive and turning into somewhat of a white-collar organization of outlaws, from computer fraud to forging checks to hacking online and stealing one's identity.
They become less and less obvious and more covert. And gangs will continue to evolve, just like any other criminal element. It will continue to evolve.
Gang ties and meth ties, guns stolen out of West Jordan.
In an attempt to curb the violence, the Metro Gang Unit's been intact for more than a decade. And for these specialized cops, identifying gang members is the easy part. Because once they hit the streets,
Shut the car off! Shut the car off now!
That's when the real work begins. Known simply as Shadow, this gangster runs with the Norteños. It's one of the largest Hispanic gangs in Utah. Within moments of the stop, a drug dog made an immediate hit on Shadow's car, but after a thorough search,
I want to know what you dumped out the window.
the suspected narcotics allegedly tossed during the chase.
Metro 693.
Night after night, the primary goal of the gang unit is to nip potential problems in the bud,
What's up with throwing the gang signs at the gang cops? Everybody put your hands on your head. Gang fight. Well, you're not down with blood.
hoping to deter the young
He
gangsters
saw us and got scared, didn't he?
from ruining their lives and getting in too deep.
That's the kind of stuff that's going to get somebody killed.
shame of it is for many, once they're in, and forever become part of the family. They know too much, they've seen too much, and getting out, quite simply, could be a dangerous decision.
You'll know this. By the time you leave a gang, you'll be beat down again within an inch of your life, and you will know that if any information is disclosed, that your family members will be in danger.